Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Khadiza, Associate Professor, Department of Physiology, Bashundhara Ad-din Medical College. Students, today I am going to discuss about gastrointestinal tract, item number 2. First slide shows the gastrointestinal tract or alimentary tract. Alimentary tract extends from mouth to anus, and gastrointestinal tract it extends from stomach to anus. And some accessory gland, that is liver and pancreas, also include in this system, and some glands, that is the parotid gland, salivary gland. These are also accessory glands that are associated with the gastrointestinal tract. This cross section shows gastrointestinal tract with its different layers. First, the outer layer, that is serous layer, then outer longitudinal layer, longitudinal muscle layer, then inner circular muscle layer, and the mucus layer. And GIT contains a special nervous system, that is enteric nervous system. It consists of two components, that is Meynting plexus and Meissner's plexus. Meynting plexus lies between the outer longitudinal and inner circular layer, and Meissner's plexus that lies behind, just below the submucous layer, that is also called submucous plexus. And Meynting plexus that actually controls the movements of the GIT, and submucosal layer that controls the GIT secretions. And enteric nervous system, and there is also the autonomic innervations in the GIT, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic innervation. Sympathetic innervation that stimulate gut movement, and parasympathetic innervation that decreases gut motility. And it also contains sensory innervation that carries information from the epithelium to the Meynting and Meissner's plexus, as well as to the higher center, that is central nervous system. Now let us go to the main topics, that is the movements of GIT. In this item we will discuss about the movement of the GIT and the different reflexes of the GIT. Now GIT has mainly basically have two types of movement, that is mixing movement and propulsive movement. Mixing movement actually it mixes the food with the gastric juices, and propulsive movement that usually pushes the food forward along the GIT at rate of proper digestion and absorption. These movements are modified in different parts of the GIT for proper propulsion and mixing. Now let us know about the mixing movement. Local intermittent constrictive contractions occurs every few centimeters in the gut wall that lasts about 5 to 30 seconds, and then new constrictions occur at other points. In this way, chopping and sharing of the content occurs and keep the intestinal content thoroughly mixed with the digestive juice. Then next point is the propulsive movement of the GIT, or we can call it peristalsis. The basic propulsive movement of GIT is peristalsis. It is a reflex response that is initiated when the gut wall is stretched by the content of the lumen. It occurs in all parts of the GIT. This figure shows the distension occurred by the food content, and you can see there is a constriction ring appear just behind the distension, and there is a relaxation in front of the distension. Now let us discuss about mechanism, how the peristalsis occurs. The stretching of the gut wall stretches stimulate the enteric nervous system and initiates a circular constriction about 2 to 3 centimeters behind the stimulus, and at area of relaxation in front of it. Then the wave of contraction that moves in an oral to caudal direction and propel the content of the lumen forward at a rate of 2 to 25 centimeters per second. An autonomic nervous system influences this activity. Stimuluses for the peristalsis are distension of the gut, and other stimulus are chemical or physical irritation of the epithelial lining of the gut, and strong parasympathetic nervous signal to the gut. Effective peristalsis requires an active Meynting plexus. Peristalsis occurs from oral to anal or caudal direction. Now, let us know about what is peristalsis reflex and what is law of gut. The peristalsis reflex plus the annular direction of the movement of peristalsis is called law of gut. Now, let us discuss about the movement of the alimentary tract. First of all, we have to know as a whole what are the movements from mouth to anus. Movement of the mouth, that firstly is mastication and chewing, and then swallowing or deglutition, and movement of the esophagus are peristalsis. It consists of primary peristalsis and secondary peristalsis. Now, movement of the stomach. First movement is peristalsis. It causes both mixing and propulsion of the food content. Then hunger contraction, it empties the stomach. Then pyloric pump for emptying the stomach content. Then movement of the small intestine. First mixing movement of small intestine is segmentation contraction. Then propulsive movement is peristalsis. Then movement of the large intestine, in this case mixing movement is hostation and propulsive movement is mass movement. Okay. Now, let us discuss about mastication or chewing. The act and process of chewing and grinding of the food in the mouth is called mastication. It is caused by a chewing reflex. Presence of bolus of food in the mouth initiate the chewing reflex, and cutting and grinding of the food. It is important for digestion of all kinds of food because it grinds larger particles into smaller particles and also increases the surface area for digestion and proper by the enzymes, and so that enzyme can act properly. Breaks indigestible cellular membrane of fruits and vegetables before the food can be digested. Grinding prevent excoriation of the GIT and help easier movement of the food from one segment to another of the alimentary tract. Now, we will discuss about swallowing or deglutition. The act of taking solid and liquid into the GIT through the mouth and throat is called deglutition. It is a complicated process because the pharynx is used for both respiration and deglutition. It can be divided into in the following stages, that is first is voluntary stage or buccal stage, and involuntary stage, that is consist of esophageal stage and pharyngeal stage and esophageal stage. This figure shows the pharynx and mouth, that the food bolus is going behind the pharynx, and then this after that voluntarily when this is squeezes into the esophagus pharynx, and it become involuntary. You can see this figure, the side section. So that's all for today. I will discuss about swallowing in the next class.